we have this Nas episode. We did a Nas review, and we're gonna do Nas reviews forever. As long as he comes out with like albums, because they're our best performing episodes, and they'll get like 120 comments. Everybody's just shitting on us. It's just these people come together. It's this fan. I don't know. He has like this fan group, and they just take a huge shit on us.
They hate watch us. It's hilarious. We
That's
get so
funny.
many comments, and it's like it's all underhanded compliments. It's like, oh yeah, you guys are awesome for doing this thing, but you guys don't know shit about what you're talking about. It's like, what? And it's like every single comment. It's hilarious.
Welcome to the One Up Podcast. I am your host, DJ Doey Fresh. I'm not your usual host. Gotta say, might be one of the best hosts. All right. I got a very, very special guest with us today with two of our more usual guests. I'll tell you more about them later.
See, that we're guests now.
Our very, very special guest, Cristina, one half of Espooky Tales, if I'm not correct. Clap for her. Applause. Insert the applause.
I am clapping for myself. Yeah.
I appreciate you clapping for yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't clap for yourself, who's gonna clap for you? You know,
Facts.
Right.
you gotta
yeah.
be your biggest supporter.
Yeah.
Facts.
I
Yeah.
like that.
And
She's coming on. Go ahead.
And Cristina, you've got more than just a Spooky Tales, right? Like how many podcasts are you actually a part of now? I feel like you pick up podcasts every week, like how we used to collect.
No,
pods back in the day.
3. Yeah, 3. I guess it could actually. Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
Very
And it's
nice. Very nice.
Spooky Tales, La Historia.
Yes, Historias Unknown is the Latin American obscure history podcast, and then my other one is like my for funsies one. That's a telenovela rewatch podcast called Novelas con Cafecito, which I host. The history one and the novelas one I host with my twin.
Gotcha. And she's guested on a Spooky Tales before. She's good.
Mhm.
No,
She's
you're all good at what
she's
you
the
do.
official what's it called official unofficial guest co-host, I think is what we've called her, something like that.
Nice.
So you got a twin?
Yes, yeah,
That's very cool. Fraternal or identical?
identical. Yeah.
Awesome. You know, I've always wondered about identical twins. I've known identical twins, and they're like, "Yeah, I'll go into work for him," and then I'm like, "No, you don't." And he's
No,
like, "Yeah,
I wouldn't.
do."
'Cause my twin's job is the worst. It's hard. I don't know how she does it. I would have already quit a long time ago. She's a social worker.
Oh, that's
wow,
a tough
okay.
job. That is a tough
It is
she's an
job.
not
amazing
easy.
person though. So
But you know what?
yeah,
It's a needed job.
it is 100% necessary, and someone has to do it. And I'm glad it's her because she's great.
That's
I
awesome.
wouldn't
Shout
do
out to
it.
her. Yeah. I have Mateo, the Texan one without a gun.
Nailed it.
See, it's not hard. This is not hard. And then I got my boy Pucho, the master thumbnail, but he doesn't do thumbnails.
Yeah.
He's the master editor, but sometimes
The
no.
bald one. I'll take the
Alright.
bald one.
All right. So let's talk about Espooky Tales. How did we get into Spooky Tales? When did this start?
Yeah, when was it? November 2020-ish, I think, is when we started. Yeah, I've always been obsessed with like everything spooky. It was like a family thing to go watch horror movies together. And I was already listening to a lot of like, paranormal or spooky podcasts, and I was like, man, how come like there's like none talking about legends in Latin America? And then I found 2, and I caught up on those, and I was like, well, if I'm looking for this, there's probably more people looking for it. I should just make it. I already had the telenovela rewatch podcast with my twin, and I wanted her to host with me originally, but she was too busy because she has a busy job. So then I was like, I was on Twitter, and I was like, who wants to co-host this with me? Because I don't want to do it by myself. And MJ was like, oh, I'll do it. And I know MJ from high school, so yeah,
That's
is
fire.
how it became a thing.
So I I'm very like I like horror, and I like to look for horror topics and recent subjects or lore. For me, I really like the Spanish spin, and like I love it everything because you hear stuff about you like hear all like the usual shit, and
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with Hispanic culture's lore. I just think it's awesome.
Yeah, y'all have covered some really interesting like stories and creatures. Y'all did an episode where you were talking about oh, it was the psychic ghost hunter dude that he used to have a show, and
Oh,
and
yes.
y'all were going through like the transcript of the show and just kind of reacting to it. I thought that one was clever. I thought that was awesome.
Yes, that's it's the Mano Peluda episode.
Yes.
So Mano Peluda was like I mean it's still going on, but the most like famous time it was the host was Juan Ramon Sáenz, and they would go to people would call in. It was kind of like coast to coast, but for like Mexico, and people would call in from everywhere, not just Mexico, but it it was hosted, I guess. I don't know how people refer to that in radio terms, but that's where it was like recorded. I don't know what the term is, but yeah, in Mexico.
How much of that show is real? Like how much of that was just straight up staged, and how much of that show was real?
So that specific episode, I later, because people call in and tell their stories, and you personally don't know are they making it up or not. But I later found out that guy's cousin got on TikTok and he's like, "Y'all, this story is fake. I helped him make all the sound effects, but he is a terrible guy, and he is into evil brujeria. He's an evil brujo." And so like that part is true. He is bad, but that phone call itself was not real. Yeah.
Wow.
Going back a little bit, how did you even get into podcasting to begin with?
I was like listening to podcasts for a few years, and a lot of podcasts, and I was like, I want to start one, but and I mean, because at the time I didn't know. Obviously, they have always existed, but I didn't know any like Latino podcasts at all. I didn't know where they were at. I didn't know how to find them, and I was like, I want to, because rewatch podcasts, I that's what I was listening to a lot of, rewatch podcasts. And I was like, well, I want to do one about novelas. And it took a while to convince my twin to do it, because she was like, no, I hate our voices. She was speaking for both of us. And I was like, well, I don't give a shit. Like, just do it with me. And I don't want to do it by myself. And I looked up how to do it. And finally she agreed. But yeah, I just thought about it one day, and I was like, I want to start one. So yeah, that's how.
That's like the struggle, right? Like I feel when we first started recording and like I was editing and Pucha was editing, the worst part was hearing myself talk. I absolutely hate hearing myself talk. I hate looking at my stupid face because we do the video format too.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
That has never bothered me. When people like are like, man, I hate the sound of my own voice, I'm like, I'm not gonna say I love the sound of my own voice, but I don't mind it. I don't mind. I've never minded seeing like editing. That's never bothered me. But people will tweet about it so much, like, oh, I hate how I sound. I'm like, I don't know. I don't see it. Carmen does though. I don't think she could edit because she does hate the sound of both of our voices, not just her own.
So she was editing. It would just be a podcast of silence. You'd have your little intro. And
she would just not do it. Yeah.
Subtitles, just subtitles.
For me, it's just like when I hear and it's not so bad anymore, and I think the mic helps. But like, it feels like when I hear my recorded voice, it doesn't sound the way that my voice sounds when I talk. Like I feel like I sound the way in my own head, that. And then when I hear it, I'm like, I sound like that. That's terrible. And so yeah, then you never know. Is it the microphone? Is it just like the way sound vibrates in your own head? Like I don't know. And you know, as time has gone on, I've certainly gotten used to the sound of my voice, like recorded. I don't cringe when I hear it anymore. But at first, I was like, oh man, this feels so weird. But I don't know.
Same. I would also get nervous when I'd be really nervous up here and shit like that. But yeah, I get it. Whenever we make clips and it's a clip of me and I hear myself talking for too long, I'm like, yo, can we just take that off? Can you like mute yourself? Like I'm kind of sick of it.
Oh, dude,
Um,
you're my favorite part when I'm making clips. You have a laugh that is just infectious. So when I can get like a good clip that has like just a doughy laugh in there somewhere, I'm like that short's gonna hit somewhere. Someone's gonna enjoy that. That laugh just can't help it.
my teachers hated me in school so much because of that. Like, just because I could get the group in that I was in laughing. One of my teachers wrote in my thing that I'm a toxic student that I
Oh damn.
that I poisoned the well.
Wow.
The bad apple.
Yeah, that was when me and the other host Tony was in a class together. They separated us.
Yeah, I could back Doy up on this one. We were in the 8th grade language arts together, and yeah, we got in trouble a lot for laughing and disrupting the class. So
Yeah,
this is true.
it was a good time. I enjoyed
I
it.
would like to see a study of the trajectory of like the kids who talk too much in class and who has a podcast and how
Right?
they intersect. Because I mean, like I'm in my twin are in there too. Like,
It's just a circle. It's just a big circle Venn diagram.
Were you and your twin ever in the same class together?
yeah, first through 3rd grade we were in the same class, and then no, okay, yeah, 3rd grade they put her in a different class, and I begged and begged for her to be in the same class with me. And then eventually they did move her to my class because she was making new friends without me.
Damn.
So I was like, no, she doesn't want to hang out with me anymore. And so I begged and cried until they put her in my class, and they did. And then 4th grade, we switched schools, and finally we were in different classes. And then in high school, once in a while, we had a class or two together, but not as often as like elementary school.
Gotcha. I feel like twins are either like super close and inseparable, or they just kind of do their own thing and they're just have their
Yeah,
own
you know,
separate
I never
friend groups. And
I knew other twins that just like hated each other, and I was like, I don't get it. Like me and my twin, whenever we went, all of our appointments together, like, you know, when you take the yearly like well child check, they were always together, and the doctor would be like, who's your best friend? And he's like, you can't point at each other, and we'd be like, what do you mean? This is my best friend. I don't know what you want from us.
Oh, that's nice. Sibling love is it's a beautiful thing to have a sibling that you can
Yeah.
be really close to. It's an awesome feeling.
Yeah, I have 2 brothers, and we've gone roller coasters in terms of like loving each other, hating each other, loving each other. Now we're all cool, but like that teenage era, it was.
That was
a lot
us with
there's
our
a lot-
brother.
Yeah, I'm the youngest. I had 2 older brothers. There's a lot of puberty, a lot of testosterone in the house. It was wild. All right, it wasn't cute at all.
yeah,
The
we had a very mischievous upbringing because like my family, you know, I've got 2 sisters and a brother, but we lived on like what we called the compound because like my family was truck drivers. So we had this big chunk of land. We had all our trucks parked there. My cousins, 2 batches of my cousins lived across the way. Other cousins
That
came
sounds
like
so
all
fun,
the time.
though.
So there were like 12 of us just running around, just causing
Oh my
mischief.
gosh. Yeah.
It was chaos. It was just pure chaos. Like we spent too much time outside. We'd hate each other in the morning, love each other by the afternoon, or reverse that. It was a
Yeah.
lot.
I can't even imagine how bad you guys smelled when you guys came in from outside. 12. Like I hate when
Oh,
people
no,
come into the
you're
house
right.
from just
Yeah.
being in the yard for like 4 minutes. I'm like, oh, you smell like outside. And 12 kids with pasty ass sweat. I couldn't. I would. I got 2 kids. I'm gonna have to deal with it soon.
It must have been miserable, dude, because we were just
Yeah.
like a pack of kids just roaming around outside.
That's hilarious. I was thinking about the first time I was like, it was like maybe 14, 15. It was the first time my mom couldn't stop us from fighting. Me and my brother, and that was my mom had to take a step back. She's like, whoa, these fists are getting thrown. And then we were like wrestling and we fell into the coffee table. And the coffee table just split in half. And yeah, it was bad. It's bad. I love siblings. Yeah, I love sibling love is like no type of love, all right? Some of the best fights, some of the worst.
This is why you weren't
Yeah.
allowed to watch Nightmare Before Christmas, dude. There was too much devil in you.
You
much-
were the Nightmare Before Christmas. That's why.
No, so no Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, no
Oh my
Double
God.
Dragon, no, because
Were
my
you guys
mom saw
evangelical?
Jehovah Witness.
Okay.
Even worse.
Okay.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah, it was. Even worse, yeah. So it was pretty bad when I was a kid.
So, Christina, can you talk about the Cultivate Network a little bit?
Oh yeah, yeah. So it's a group of indie podcasts. I think, when did they start it? I don't remember. They asked me to be on it at some point, and I did join them. But yeah, we just help each other out with like guest spots. There's the Reddit on Wiki podcast, which is a lot of fun. I love guesting on that podcast. We just they read Reddit stories, we react to them. Ye Old
Ah,
Crime is like old crime, like from like the, I don't know, 1800s. So a lot of interesting cases. Weird Distractions is also a true crime. It's a lot of true crime somehow. And then just like randomly, yeah. But that's another true crime paranormal podcast hosted by Alex. And it's only her, but it's done really well. I just don't listen to a lot of solo hosted podcasts. But if I do, it is one of them that I listen to. The other one, I haven't really checked it out, but it's Dom and they talk about true crime, and they're British. So if you like British accents, some people do. That is going to be a good one to listen to. He hosted it solo for a while, and then now he has a co-host. And then Spooky Tales is on there, and then my other two are on there as well: Historias Unknown and Novelas con Cafecito.
let's
Awesome.
go.
That's
That's
a
very
solid
cool.
lineup for sure.
Yeah, it's like podcast for almost every mood.
It must be so hard to do a just solo podcast. I don't know how to do that.
I
Honestly,
I can't.
I don't know how you do your show because y'all are so well researched with all your topics and everything that you're discussing. I don't know if you have like just a big stack of notes in front of y'all, if y'all just cram everything in and then spew on the
No,
episode. Or
no. We both have notes that we like. We pick a story. We have a big document of like a bunch of places and legends that we want to talk about. We're like, all right, which one should we do this week? Bam, let's do this one. And then over the week, we like look it up, write our notes, and then the way I structure it is like a listener story. I'll paste it in there from all of the ones we get, and then one of us will go first. But we always have notes in front of us. Yeah, I think you can. You should be able to tell we're reading because we're like reading off the notes. Especially MJ because she reads fast, so you can always tell when she's telling her own story or when she's reading, which is fine because like I'm not gonna memorize all that. That's a lot to memorize.
Yeah.
Sometimes I know a story already, and so I don't need the notes as much. But that's how we usually do it. We'll have the thing in front of us, and there's sometimes it's tangents, but yeah, we read the story because I could not just memorize all that.
that
Yeah, I enjoy how you guys transition from like kind of retelling the story, kind of, and you could tell like there's like you put it on like this voice of like telling a tale, and then it's like both you guys are sort of reacting to different parts
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
these stories. It's fun.
I like that the go-to reaction a lot of times just like, and that's where I would leave. That's where I would be done with this whole situation.
Yeah, it's either that or like, ew, what? No.
Yeah, your
There was-
podcast does make me talk out loud in my car a lot because I like the way that y'all pronounce a lot of like words from languages that are kind of like they're not like Spanish or anything like that. It's like like indigenous languages and things like that in some of your stories. And y'all are pronouncing
those
them
are
and trying
so
to like work
hard.
through how to pronounce them, and I'm also speaking it to myself in my car.
Yeah,
I
love it.
have a favorite one that you told was about the haunted jail cell, and whoever went
Oh
into the jail
yeah,
cell, they died, and then it ended up being like a huge scorpion or something like that
yes,
would go in
yeah.
there and kill. Yo, that was one of my. I've watched that one several times. And then there was another one about, and this one was so wacky. It was like a house inside of a mall. There's
Oh
like this
yes, that's in El
this
Salvador. Yeah,
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 and I'm like, what? And
yeah. They
apparently this
built
place
them
is
all around this
haunted.
house. Yeah,
I
Yeah,
need to
so
check that one out. That sounds wild.
the
Yeah.
Haunted house
content,
inside of a
yeah,
mall.
the
hmm
content on Instagram and TikTok is like the way it's cut. It's perfect. If you ask me, like their formula that you have on there, I really
Oh,
appreciate
thank
that.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've listened to maybe like maybe 8 or 9 episodes. I do find it cool how I could like listen to the whole like 20-30 minute podcast, and then if I were to go to Instagram and listen, you kind of like
It's like a
somehow
1 minute
fit
version.
the whole story into this one little
Yeah.
like minute clip. It's impressive.
That's very impressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
There will
What
be
I am
comments like, you
disturbed
left this
about-
out. And I'm like, okay, I only got a minute here. Like, come on. Yes, I left it out.
What I do find disturbing is how many of these stories involve like horny men chasing random women into the woods.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's like whether all right, ignoring the fact because we're gonna get into whether like this stuff is real or not. But like, who in their right mind would follow like just a voice? There's a sexy voice in the woods. A man's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna
That's
chase
hot.
that down in the dark."
That's fucking hot.
Yeah.
I just assume everyone's drunk in these stories where they're chasing the sexy voice. I just assume they're really,
They have
really
to be.
shit-faced.
Yeah.
Yo, the one really hilarious thing, and you pointed it out, was that people will comment and be like, this is fake, right?
Oh my God. I'm like, I said, according to legend, like, please, do you not know what that means? All the time.
So I find that funny when I look in the comment section and I'm like, dude, all of
Always,
this
yeah.
this is not real, right?
Thank you. Thank you for letting me know.
It's like the comments we get that are like, that's just your opinion, right? And we're like, we're a goddamn opinion show. Of course,
an
it's just our
opinion
opinions.
Do tell.
We have this Nas episode. We did a Nas review, and we're gonna do Nas reviews forever. As long as he comes out with like albums, because they're our best performing episodes, and they'll get like 120 comments. Everybody's just shitting on us. It's just these people come together. It's this fan. I don't know. He has like this fan group, and they just take a huge shit on us.
They hate watch us. It's hilarious. We
Yeah.
get
It's
so many
funny.
comments, and it's like it's all underhanded compliments. It's like, oh yeah, you guys are awesome for doing this thing, but you guys don't know shit about what you're talking about. It's like, what? And it's like every single comment. It's hilarious.
It's good. It's a good time.
I have to
but
go
we do
back
have-
and listen to those. I used to listen to Nas a lot. It's been a while though.
Yeah, his last album's pretty good.